once you begin to deplete your body of carbs and start to eat higher fats, what's going to happen is there's an adjustment phase. For today's video, I'm going to talk about the keto flu. Let's get started. Hey, what's up YouTube? It is Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer by training, and for today's video, I'm going to talk about the keto flu. So let's get started. All right, guys. So if you are not following me on Instagram, please head over there at Gauge Girl Training and give us a follow. Today, I'm going to be discussing the keto flu. There has been a lot of interest that you guys have been expressing in learning more about the ketogenic diet, as well as lower carb, higher fat protocols. And these benefit a lot of different people for very specific reasons. And I don't advise this type of approach for those people who are just seeking to lose weight. It is a very specific approach, and it makes a lot of sense for people under very specific scenarios. Now, one of those scenarios would be if you have insulin resistance and your body has a harder time processing carbohydrates, if you are feeling very fatigued, if you are extremely overweight, or if you have PCOS, or if you just have a harder time complying to lower fat protocols. So one thing that has been talked about a lot without a lot of detailed scientific explanation is the keto flu. Now, the keto flu is shorthand for the adaptation process to ketosis. Now, what is ketosis? Ketosis is when you no longer rely on carbohydrates for fuel, and as a result, your body is going to rely on fat for fuel. So once you begin to deplete your body of carbs and start to eat higher fats, what's going to happen is there's an adjustment phase, and that adjustment phase can be very uncomfortable for some people. For others, it's not as bad. So what this phase can include is essentially your body is coming off of the carbohydrates. Now, this can include feelings of headaches, nausea, upset stomach. After a few days of this where your body gets adjusted to relying on fat for fuel, there is something that happens where you have a tendency to lose a lot of fluids. When a lot of fluid is lost from the body, you tend to lose a lot of electrolytes. Now, part of the keto flu is the result of an extreme loss of electrolytes and the fact that most people have not rebalanced their electrolytes. These electrolyte imbalances stem from the fact that you are no longer feeding your body carbohydrates. Because you are no longer feeding your body carbohydrates, you are no longer getting insulin in your system. Now, insulin is the hormone that tells your kidneys to store sodium. Now that you no longer have insulin present in your system, your kidneys are just flushing out excess amounts of sodium, potassium, as well as magnesium. And by being deficient specifically in these electrolytes due to the fact that insulin is no longer present to tell your kidneys to hold on to those electrolytes, you will need to rebalance. And the rebalancing effect is going to vary person to person. However, what this means is that the average person will probably want to be consuming approximately anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 additional milligrams per day of sodium alone, just to stay balanced, to catch up with the fact that so much sodium is being lost through the kidneys as a result of the lack of insulin in the body. Typical dieting has a tendency to have things like high sodium foods look bad, and because obviously sodium can bloat you, it can have issues with hypertension, blood pressure, all those things. But in this specific instance, having foods that are higher in sodium is actually to help balance your electrolytes. So there are a lot of considerations to take into account other than just the macronutrients of the different split of protein, carbs, and fat when following a ketogenic protocol. You also want to consider electrolyte rebalancing, and you also want to make sure that you are getting enough fiber. If you are interested in trying out a ketogenic protocol or just interested in trying a lower carb, higher fat protocol that has had the fiber and electrolytes rebalanced for you, you definitely want to consider joining my low carb protocol challenge, which is going to be launched in the next week. The challenge officially starts on July 24th, and this program is going to be essentially 3 times the size of my 6-week shred. It is going to come with over 100 menus, and it's going to be available at different calorie levels. So you are essentially going to be getting 300 menus, and there are going to be a variety of protocols outlined for you in this 10-week challenge. Now, the challenge isn't necessarily to lose weight. The challenge is for those of you who need to explore different options to help you feel your best. So obviously one of those benefits can be fat loss, but there is a maintenance level version. There is also going to be an online coaching version where for those of you, once you become keto adapted, if you want to try cyclical keto, like there's a lot of unique advanced approaches that I'm going to be introducing to you guys through this low carb protocol, because there are many different ways to go about reaching your health and fitness goals, and this approach may help some of you. It may not be for everyone. I will be doing more and more videos explaining what you will be getting in more detail in the coming weeks. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.